You know, by the time you hit 35, you're supposed to have a pretty good handle on how the world works. I've built a career as an analyst. I'm literally paid to calculate risks and spot the hidden numbers everyone else misses. But as it turns out, I was a total amateur in my own bedroom. For 5 years, I was building a castle that looking back was held together by nothing but my own desperate wish to be loved. But when your wife looks you in the eye in front of your friends and calls your effort pathetic, something inside you just flips. Permanently. I didn't scream. I didn't make a scene. I just blew out the candles. In that one split second, it finally hit me. I wasn't a husband to her. I was just a free subscription service for romance that nobody had actually ordered. I'm 35, and as a financial analyst, I trust numbers. Numbers don't lie, and they don't have mood swings. Last Tuesday, the numbers told me we had been married for exactly 1,826 days. Our 5th anniversary, I took the day off. I wanted it to be like a movie. I spent 3 hours in the kitchen making herb-crusted salmon her favorite. I made chocolate souffle from scratch, failing twice before getting it perfect. I bought an $80 bottle of Pinot Noir she once mentioned in passing. I set up about 30 candles. The vibe was perfect. I genuinely thought this would help us reconnect after a rough few months. Then the door opened at 7 p.m. Sarah wasn't alone. She walked in with her sister and her best friend. They were just dropping by before their girls' night out. I was standing there with a lighter, hitting the last candle. The room smelled like rosemary and my own high hopes. Sarah stopped in the doorway, looked at the table, the flowers, my dress shirt, and she lost it. She started laughing. Oh my God, Bill, stop trying to be romantic. It's pathetic, she sneered, looking at her friends. You look so desperate for attention. It's actually embarrassing. The room went dead silent. Her sister turned white. Her friend started inspecting her own shoes. 5 years. 5 years of my life, my support, and my heart, and she summarized it in one word. Pathetic. Something inside me thus clicked, like a circuit breaker tripping. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I just put the lighter down and started blowing out the candles, one by one. What are you doing? She asked, still smirking. I looked her dead in the eye. My voice was chillingly calm. You just taught me a valuable lesson, Sarah. Romance is pathetic when it's a one-way street. I'm done being desperate. I grabbed the roses, walked past them, and tossed them straight into the trash. We're roommates now, I said. I'm ordering pizza. Join if you want, but we're splitting the bill. In my line of work, we call this cutting your losses. When an asset goes toxic, you stop pouring resources into it. That night, I closed the position on my marriage. While Sarah stood there confused, I felt a strange, surgical coldness. I methodically cleared the table, the salmon I spent hours on, into a Tupperware for tomorrow's lunch. No more special moments, Bill. Come on, it was a joke. Don't be so sensitive, she said. Her friends had already vanished. I didn't answer. I took that $80 wine, corked it, and put it in the back of the fridge. I'm just sanitizing the room, I replied, removing all the pathetic stuff. I agree with you. I've been a fool trying to warm up someone who prefers living in a freezer. I pulled out my phone and ordered a cheap pepperoni pizza. No herbs, no fancy plating, just dough and grease. I ordered pizza, I told her. For myself, if you want some, Venmo me your half. Or order your own. From now on, Sarah, we are roommates. You do you. I do me. No more pressure of my affection. Isn't this the freedom you wanted? She tried to play it off as her being relieved, but I saw the flicker of panic. She was used to me being the soft place to land. She didn't realize the couch had just turned into a concrete slab. I'm a forensic financial analyst. I find hidden money, fraud, and paper trails for federal audits. I'm used to people lying, but bank statements don't. That night, I couldn't sleep. I opened my laptop. I wanted the truth, stripped of her gaslighting. I pulled 5 years of records, every credit card statement, Venmo transaction, and mortgage payment. When the final spreadsheet popped up at 4 a.m., even I was shocked. Over 5 years, I had paid for 81% of our shared life. Roughly $127,000 of my net worth went into RS. Sarah contributed 19%, barely $29,000, most of which went to her personal fun stuff, but the emotional investment column was the real killer. I tracked my spending on her. Flowers, surprise trips, spa days, jewelry. $8,400 just last year. Over $50,000 in total. Sarah's contribution to romantic gestures, 0. Not a single date planned. Not a single $5 gift just because. Not even a coffee. I wasn't looking at a marriage. I was looking at a parasitic drain. I was the infrastructure, the security, and the entertainment, and she was the critic complaining about the service. I created a folder named Operation Roommate. The era of subsidies was over. The first week was an adjustment period. I sent Sarah an invite to a shared Google Sheet. Every grocery run ended with a Venmo request. Groceries, 50%, $42.50. At first, she acted like she'd won the lottery. I heard her on the phone with her mom. Mom, he finally chilled out. No more smothering romance. I can finally just exist. She thought I had stopped being needy. She didn't realize I had stopped being her ATM. Reality hit on Wednesday. Bill, my brakes are squeaking, she said. Can you take my car to the shop? You know the guy there. Maybe he'll give us a discount. Old Bill would have handled it all. New Bill didn't look up from his screen. You should book an appointment for Saturday. Sarah. And just so you know, they offer 0% financing if the bill is too high for your personal budget. What, you're not coming? And I have to pay. Roommates handle their own transportation. Sarah. I don't ask you to pay for my oil changes, right? Her face fell. Later that night, she suggested a steakhouse. I went. When the check came, I split it down the middle. Separate checks, please, I told the waiter. Sarah's hand actually shook when she had to pull out her own card for a $25 cocktail she assumed I'd covered. In finance, we call this reputational risk. Sarah decided to go for a black PR strategy. I got a DM from Emma, her coworker. Bill, I hope this isn't weird, but Sarah is telling everyone at the office that you're financially abusing her. She says you're a controlling psycho who's punishing her for asking for space. I felt the last bit of my heart turn to ash. I could handle her being selfish, but trying to destroy my professional reputation to save face. That was war. She wanted to be the victim. She wanted to keep the lifestyle I provided while calling me pathetic behind my back. I added a new tab to my spreadsheet. Reputation attacks. The roommate phase was over. The divorce phase had begun. As an analyst, I look for the root cause. Sarah's error was coded long ago. Her dad walked out when she was 12, leaving them in poverty. She used to color her socks with a black marker to hide the holes in her shoes. When she met me stable, high-earning Bill, she didn't just find a husband. She found a fortress. But here was the glitch. She was so terrified of being that vulnerable girl again that she built a wall. Loving me back meant dependence, and dependence meant danger. So she took everything and gave nothing, using your pathetic as a shield to keep me at arm's length while she drained my resources. I understood her pain, but at 35, I know one thing. Trauma is an explanation, not an excuse. You don't get to turn your partner's life into a desert just because yours was once a storm. Marriage is a partnership, not a lifetime of free therapy where the therapist gets insulted daily. Thursday was audit day. Sarah came home expecting me to apologize for being cold. She sat down, arms crossed. Bill, this roommate game is beneath us. We need to talk like adults. I turned my laptop toward her. Agreed. Let's talk facts. This is a 5-year forensic audit of our marriage. She rolled her eyes. Oh God, not your stupid spreadsheets again. You can't measure love in Excel. You can't measure love, I said calmly, but you can measure effort. See this, $8,400 last year alone on making you feel special. Your contribution, 0. You say you love differently. Show me the data. Where is the graph of your love? Because right now, you're just a consumer. You didn't find a husband. You found a subsidy. Her face went red. She had no comeback because the numbers don't have feelings. When the numbers trapped her, she snapped. She stood up, knocking her chair over. Fine. You want the truth. Your romance suffocated me. It was needy and desperate. I hated how you always wanted to be loved back. It was too much pressure. So being loved was pressure? I asked. Got it. You wanted a sugar daddy, not a husband. Then the anger turned to pure terror. She looked at her bank statements on the table. You can't do this. I can't afford this house. I can't even afford my car without you. You're throwing me on the street because I didn't like your stupid salmon. She fell to her knees, sobbing, not because she missed me, but because her all-access pass to my bank account was being revoked. I hate you for making me depend on you, she screamed. That was the moment I knew. She didn't love me. She loved the cushion I provided. The divorce was a liquidation of a toxic asset. Sarah's lawyer tried the traditional marriage angle, asking for alimony and half my retirement. I opened my briefcase. I had proof that the $95,000 down payment was my premarital property. I had the 81/19 expense split, and I had the DMIS showing her smear campaign. My lawyer, Patricia, leaned in. Most people bring me boxes of crumpled receipts. You brought a forensic analysis. This is a layup. The process was swift. I kept the house. I kept my accounts. Sarah walked away with her clothes, her car and the payments, and a harsh reality check. She wasn't a queen. She was just an underfunded marketing rep who had burned her only bridge. 6 months later, my house was quiet, and I finally had peace. Then my phone buzzed at 2:15 a.m. Bill, she was sobbing. Please don't hang up. I made a mistake. I'm drowning. My rent is $2,100 for a studio. My cards are maxed. I'm eating ramen every night. I love you. I swear I'll be different. I felt nothing. No anger. No pity. Sarah, you had 5 years to be different when you had everything. You only want to change now that you have nothing. That's not love, that's a budget deficit. Goodbye. I blocked her. The next night, I went on a date with Katie. She's an engineer. She's 29, and she's sharp. When the check came for our first dinner, she grabbed it. I invited you, she said. So, it's on me. On our third date, she brought me sunflowers. You mentioned you liked them. She smiled. At 35, I finally figured it out. Real romance isn't about 30 candles. It's about being seen. It's when her effort matches yours without a spreadsheet. And those sunflowers meant more to me than any number on a bank statement ever could. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Let me know in the comments.